Ajeno Karma Bhajeno Karma Bhajeno Karma Bhajeno Karma Bhajeno Lama 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 Bhajeno Om Chö Chö Yen Ge Bo Ran Ne Du Song Song Je Gun Je Ngo Ni La Se Chu Gu Ma Song Zhen Zhe So Ve La Me Sha La Gui Cha Cha Sem Je Nam Je Sam Pa Nam Lo Ye Chi Ta Chi Tam Chi Chen Te Ma Te Pa Yin Chi Chi Ko Lo Ko Ru Tu Su Teni nambazo tsamala nyingun tele shua da chapchi. Teni da chudungi nga wadala teni chambu. Palin kinzo besegi ze shabegi lama chambu de. Tatanda kapsu pawala teni. Maranzo ki lama chambu ne ma shua yins.
Good afternoon to you all. We will begin our session this afternoon by continuing with the teachings from Jamgon Kongtrul Lodro Tai's Calling the Guru from Afar.
大家午安，那我们现在继续这个下午的课程，也就是要继续讲掌供康楚罗哲太爷大师所著作的《遥呼上师祈请文》。
Teni da kapsu pawala zawi nala kiamdro semji suldep che na yangs. Mugui nyingche tingni ma ke wars. Tsik tsam wangyur chucho kecho nam. Che lo tsamle gyudo ma kewe lama ke na tuji niduza. Chi chi chusu chowar jinji lo sene sungyo res.
So the root text here, starting on page 60, says, although we have taken refuge, engendered bodhicitta, and made prayers, devotion and compassion have not arisen in the depths of our being. Dharma activity and the practice of virtue have turned to hollow words. Our empty achievements are many, but none have moved our mind. Lama, think of us, behold us swiftly with compassion. Bless us that whatever we do is in harmony with the Dharma.
所以这里根本文从法本第60页继续，虽以皈依发心与祈祷，前进慈悲未自心底生，只依文字修法与行善，行持僵化无法生心性。上师见之我，其以慈悲及垂顾，加持所作，皆骤入佛法。
Teni da du jundu la ngaran zoki da kandun kecho chinare, kom chamnare, du jundu ngaran zoki. Ani shedun chebay nare, da kari chebay na ngaran zo choga chido bay na. Du jundu ngaran zo kiamdo tang semge. Ngwa senganenji, minchi pe kechimbo re, se sungyo re. Di dani kiamdo de, da ngaran zo du jundu kiamdo de, labardo kiamdo da semge de me bay na. Ngaran zo jigiyo ma re. Teni kiamruki kabla ya ngaranzo lama kyangboye chi toba yinba na kiamruki kabla. Teni ngaranzo lama, sangye, chu, kendun sula kyabsu choki yinsam. Teka na shingi ngaranzo sanga doje tepi pyoge nambala karirasa na lama yitam khandro, kiamru chukla kyabsu choki ores. Teni karichene ngaranzo kiamru chuk chawo chi kyabsu choki ores sema sena. Teni ngaranzo kiamdo de da sangye che sangye la dana ngaranzo kyabu yul chogre. Che de ngaranzo langba chogre, kendun de ngaranzo chog chogre. Da ngaranzo kiamdo chognane lama yidam khando de garichene kyabso chogre na lama de ngaranzo ki chilab nangane res. Yidam de dene ngaranzo ngutub nangyo res. Che kyong de ngaranzo ki barje se yo res. Kiamdo chogde la inchi benche ngaranzo ani kyabso chogo res. Kiamrude inji meje ngaranzo kyabso choyade pe kechimbo res.
So normally, whenever we recite prayers or whenever doing meditation or whenever doing a puja, whatever it is that we're doing, it's extremely important that we begin by going for refuge, generating bodhicitta, and conclude with dedications. This is extremely important. And it is often said also that if we do not go for refuge and rouse bodhicitta, that it's just not proper, it's just not right. Now, when we go for refuge, for example, when we recite a text such as this calling the gurus from afar, we go for refuge to the gurus, the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And then in the secret mantra Vajrayana, we, in addition, go for refuge to the gurus, the Yidam deities, and the Dharma protectors. And in this way, we have 6 different refuges. So why do we have 6 different refuges? Well, when we go for refuge to the Buddha as like the object or the goal of our refuge. The Dharma is the path, and the Sangha is our companions on the path. And then why do we go for refuge to the Guru? It's because the Guru is the one who gives us the blessings. The Yadam deities are the ones who grant us the accomplishments, and the Dharma protectors dispel obstacles. And so we absolutely must go for refuge to all 6 of these, and going for refuge is extremely important.
那通常呢，在我们不管是这个念诵经文、祈愿文，或是在做禅修，还是修完一座法，很重要的这个有2个元素，这些佛法的修持有2个很重要的元素，一个就是开始的时候要做皈依，还要升起菩提心；第2个就是在结行结尾的时候要做一个回向。那在开始呢，如果没有做皈依或是发菩提心的话呢，这样的修持就变成不如法的，是错误的。所以在这里呢，我们要先做皈依。那皈依的话呢，我们会皈依我们的上师，我们会皈依3宝，也就是佛法僧3宝。然后呢，在金刚乘当中，我们会再加3个皈依境，就是上师、本尊还有护法。所以佛法僧还有这个上师、本尊和护法，总共是6个皈依境。那在这里呢，佛宝就是代表我们修佛法的这个目的，我们的目标。然后呢，法宝就是我们要达到这个目标的道路，僧宝就是我们在这个道路上的伴侣。然后呢，上师呢是我们的这个加持的根源，本尊是我们成就的根源，而护法呢，则是帮助我们在这个法道上，或是行佛行事业的道路上呢，驱除我们的障碍。所以呢，我们一定要皈依这6个皈依境，这是非常重要的。
당가란지 잠루 숨라 캡스토나레 잠루 죽라 캡스토나레 소데 나란주기 되네 교권데 당가란지 잠루 죽이 캡나레 잠루 숨쇼나레 베타고 시작하면 당가란지 잠루라 캡스 손에 되네 나란지 캡스 죽어래 캡면데 상계기 캡고요래 캡고인데 신 베타고 상계기 캡고요래서 베타고 시작하면 상계기 차는 건데 차는 거겠네 안주 년조라 좀마가와 마가와 저 타와다 탐제 캠벨라 캡투고 여러베서나 딱 캡투고 요 말레스 가레서나 나란조 랑기 나란조기 최 냠낸 전에 나란조기 년조레 타와 전에 캡투와 제거고레스 되는 나란조 상계기 되는데 차는 뭐 단데 답도 있는데 요 말레스 나란조기 최 냠낸 야보 제체는 나랑 저기 캡도 어쩌고 나랑데 소소데 캡내기 뭐에 차야레스 다니 다기 고양이 다니 다기 캡이 소야다 가르에서는 소소라라리고레스
Now, when we're talking about going for refuge, whether we say we're going for refuge to 3 or refuge to the 6, the main thing, who's really protecting us? When we're going for refuge, who do we go for refuge to? We're primarily going for refuge to the Buddha. But is it like that the Buddha can reach out his long arm and then save us from the lower realms and bring us to liberation and omniscience just by reaching out his long arm? It's not. That's not how it works. And the reason why it isn't like that is because we practice Dharma ourselves, and in that way we save ourselves from falling to the lower realms. It's not like the Buddha or anyone else could reach out their arm and say and rescue us. So when we practice the Dharma, we are our own protectors. It's actually us who are the actual refuge. And so in this way, the Buddha said, you are your own protector, you are your own refuge. And that means that it depends upon you, or it depends upon us ourselves.
那当我们在做这样的皈依，不管我们是皈依三宝还是皈依，我们的对象皈依对象，不管是3个还是6个，那实际上我们是在皈依什么呢？是要祈求谁的这个依护呢？那主要呢就是在祈请佛陀。那当然呢，虽然我们这么皈依佛陀，但是不是佛陀就这么一手伸出来就可以将我们从下三道这个恶趣捞出来，保护我们呢？并不是这样，我们还是要透过自身修持佛法，才可以真正的这个护佑我们自己。所以呢，其实这样来看呢，我们事实上就是自己的这个这个依护，我们其实呢是在这个皈依我们自己。所以呢，就如佛陀所说的，我们是我们自己的这个依护者，我们是自己的皈依处。
Tene inde zamba la tene ngaran zo kyamjo re tega na ji semje solte kari nyamnen chebe kabla imbai na tui kyundu ngaran zo mugi nyingje tingni maje wala tene khazam tsam ge kejong chego res tene chene tigyo mare di inji menche ngaran zo kyamjo solte kande chebe na ngaran zo ne mugi tingni da kene tene tsam 초점직 근데 많이 받지나 알아주고 무기 띵니 되니 쟤네 가족 개정 제바이나 하는 알아줘 소소게 겹도 보여레스
And so for that reason, whether we're going for refuge, rousing bodhicitta, reciting some supplication, whatever practice we're doing, we should have a devotion from deep within and compassion from deep within. But usually we don't, and usually we're just reciting words or doing it partially. So whether we are going for refuge or reciting a supplication, we need to develop that devotion from deep within, faith from deep within, so that it doesn't just become that we're just doing it as mere words, or that we're only doing it halfway. If we are able to have that devotion from deep within, then we will be able to protect ourselves.
所以呢，不管我们是在做这个皈依，还是在发起菩提心，还是在念诵这个祈愿文，最重要的一点呢，就是我们要这个前进心，要升起这个清净的这个慈悲心，而且是由心里深处由衷的升起的。不然呢，通常我们做的话呢，我们做这些修持是没有这样的清净的前进心，没有这样子由衷的慈悲心的。那这样一来呢，我们所做的这些念诵都变成只是残留在这个字语之上了。所以呢，我们在不管做什么修持，在做念诵，要升起非常这个真诚的这种前进心。不要让我们的言语只是变成这个字句，这样的话呢，我们的修持就是不到火候的。这样子呢，如果我们这样如法的去修持，由衷的去祈请的话，那才有办法真的就是护佑我们自己。
덴덴데 담발라 책sam와죠 초조 개정남 제로점에 기도 레규 기도 마케 손데 담발라 다 뒤준도 나란조 칸도엔 제바이 마이나라 아니 곰발라 페네 뒤준도 나란조 초가 숭이 카바이나레 나란조 수보데 데니 레 데니 미기데 베잘라시 이나 나란조 셈데 카사 칼라데니 레사레서 수보데레는 셈데 카사 페나차 샤바이나 단당하는저 추인이 비싸다 미대간도 참아 통데 암전이거든 잠잘라 지 소소의 템바데 가사 갈 템바 시시메바데 가사 가 참되고 그래서 티 가릴레 때는 중요하잖아 말한저 뒤쪽에 셈 만데발 때는 중요해서 뒤쪽도 말한도 칸도는 계절 가르쳐봐 있나 셈네 류네 나네 숨전네 그거 그래서 간데전네 그래서는 류기고네 아니 수보 장보 야보 전에 아니 나기 거네 되니 이게 찍대 야보 저 자다보 저로 되니 이게 거네 되니 이 단계 가리 냠는 제베이나 야보 전에 소소 다게라 하고미아이나레 능게라 하고미아이나레 너도 야보 제고 류가 있음 내내 아니 근데 저 공부이나 되는 거란 저기 아니 책상 위 왕교들이 추적 개정 많이 봐 오늘 전에기 되네 대 잠도선데 가리도 많이 봐이나 되는 거란 저 야보지 중거래스 시추선 저거라는 거란 저 진질랍도 거래스
So, as it says in the text, Dharma activity and the practice of virtue have turned into hollow words. Our empty achievements are many, but none have moved our mind. So, whenever we are reciting prayers, or like when we come to do a puja at the monastery, when you come to do a puja at the monastery, with our body, we come and we sit down and do the puja. With our eyes, we're looking at the text, but our mind goes everywhere else. And it's like we are looking at everything we're seeing and hearing, but our mind is wandering everywhere because we don't have enough mindfulness and awareness. So we generally have to continually try to let our mind stay. Our mind doesn't usually just rest where it is. So we need to be able to have our body, speech, and mind all just rest and stay. And so when your body is resting, your body is just sitting and you're sitting up straight. With your speech, it stays by reciting the text properly with good pronunciation. And with your mind, whatever yidam deity you're doing, whether you're doing a frontal visualization or visualizing yourself as the deity, your mind stays on that visualization. And in that way, your body, speech, and mind are all just resting and staying. And if we do not do that, then what we're saying is just words. So whether we're going for refuge or reciting prayers or doing any other practice, it's important that our mind, body, speech, and mind are all present. And if we do that, then the Dharma becomes the Dharma and we will be able to receive its blessings.
所以呢，接下来这个法本说，只依文字修法与行善，行持僵化，无法生心性。那在这里呢，就是说我们只是在念诵这个，或是不管我们在念诵这个诵经，或是在修法，在寺院修法，可能有时候我们到了寺院，身体是到了，然后是确实坐在那里了，那眼睛呢是看着法本。但是我们的心呢，却是漂移不动、不当的，就是漂移来漂移去的，没有办法定下来的。这是因为呢，我们没有足够的正念还有正知，没有足够的这个觉知。那这样子的话呢，我们修持是条件是不够的。我们首先要让我们的心可以好好的安住下来，我们的三门身语意都应该要可以安住下来，可以安定下来。我们的身体应该是坐在那里好好的不动的，然后呢，我们的嘴、我们的语是透过嘴巴念诵这个如法的念诵祈愿文，咬字清晰。然后我们的心呢是要在当下做什么样的本尊修持，就要去观想这个法门的本尊，而且呢，好好的没有分心的去观想。这样子呢，让我们的身语意都好好的定下来、安住下来，才是如法的修持。否则的话呢，我们这些文字呢，就真的只是叫做只靠文字修法了，就没有意义了。不管是在念诵这个经文，还是在说修持，我们的身语意都要维持在当下。这样一来呢，我们的佛法修持才会真的叫做佛法修持，也才会真的得到加持。
Teni tade tole donga tamje chung shenben semje sanje chuse sum kyang semcho kenje rando putu chu shenben taje shene shola chu lama keno tuje nyudo sa tashin chewar nevar chinji lo sen.
So now the text continues. All suffering arises from wanting happiness for ourselves, and enlightenment is attained through benefiting others, it is taught. We engender bodhicitta while secretly cherishing our own desires. We do not benefit others, and further, we even unconsciously harm them. Lama, think of us, behold us swiftly with compassion. Bless us that we are able to exchange ourselves for others.
然后下一个偈子是，一切痛苦源于求己乐，经云以利他心而成佛，发殊胜心却深藏私欲，利他附带成就害他行。上师见知我，其以慈悲及垂顾，加持堪能赐他相唤行。
Teni 다 ngana zuki 다 teni döba döya ki chido soso la deba döya ki chido la teni ngana zu 다 진진데 가장 공도 주번난 신게 다 진진데 시베 슈크쳔버 시워셔레 당에만 내가 쉬워서는 ngana zuki 낭비기 따와라 그런기 다 생각해요 말에 실로 신나 말아 다 생각해요 말에 다 매번 맞아 소소라 다 생각해요 말에 ngala ngagir sana nga cha chimbo yin nga shiwu yin nga shiwu chobye yin sana ngala teni ngala zogi teni dongan tamje chungayagi tsawa de ane teni chungare ta dongan de kande de chungare ta ku ngala zogi toma sanje chomden degi ta warana sila debashi chogo kobe kablaya teni tambo te dongan shewar cha 세송을 담보된 거라서 동아대 결혼 시합을 저러지 상계기 내려지는 송을에 동아대 된도인도 잠발랑 나란조 때 코로바 토마메 바니 다다 파토라 나란조 코로발라 마타네 하 돼야 돼 가르치는 하에서나 되는 나란조 다진 슈첨보 요발랑 나란조 되니 대체네 코로발라 탈 투요 말에서 된도인도 잠발라 되는 나란조기 되니 코로발라 유디 잠발라 동아이 인바데 요바데 말한저 세계요 말에 세계요 말 하고요 말 동아이 요나 대화지 요기래 선네 되게 나라 걸어와라 잖냐 코르네더니 다다바도 하야 되는데 제가 동아게 나라 동아게 나라 잖냐 하데 말한저 카시게 삼발문에 다 동아데 매바지 조조주기래 다 동아 매바지 셴바지 차그래서 라와인데 셴바시 위참네 요래서 ngaranzu di korwa la ta korwa ritu ne kawa keba yina ya dunga nyunga yungu yore machi dewa lego yo mara nga dunga nyunga lego res tada pe chaya shaba na ngaranzu chung kamni pamige amage kobani ma deyo yundi tsambala tangbo nina ngaranzu puute keche she yo mara mi tongu yo mara sheba kaya yo mara tangbo ma deyo yundi na 말하자 부대 komision에 기계가 말했어. 부대 가르치 기계를 부대 배 문의 기계를 가르치는 무거워서 걸어들어 다니 독스 개월을 걸어라니 다 동안 냐도 고추거 힘바이나 말하자 드디어 걸어 하고 말하자 근데 쟤네들이 다다 발도 말하자 걸어라냐 원래 때네 하는 말하자기 세딜라 신명기 자와데 지에 두두가 말해 다 진짜 슈크쳔볼라 요바잖냐 다 진진게 다 코로나 때니 되네 신변 좀 맡아볼 때는 상계 톱톱이 오면 상계 톱톱이 오면 근데 쟤는 하드웨어를 쓰나서
So we all want happiness for ourselves. We want pleasure and happiness for ourselves. And this is because we cherish ourselves, as I explained yesterday. We cherish ourselves extremely strongly. But in the Buddhist view, we say that there is no self. This is different than other religions. Not only is there no self or no soul, there's no I, there's no me. But we think me, and because we think of a me, we then get proud about a me, and we think, I'm great, I want to be good, I want this, I want that. And so thinking me then brings all of our suffering. So how is that? Well, it says the Buddha taught when he first turned the wheel of Dharma, of the Four Noble Truths in Varanasi. When he began that teaching, the Buddha said, first he said, no suffering. Suffering must be known. This is what the Buddha said. So we have been in samsara from beginningless time from now. And the reason why we're still stuck in samsara is because of our ego clinging being so extremely strong. because our extreme ego clinging is so strong, we are not able to liberate ourselves from samsara. And so no matter wherever we are in samsara, there is suffering, but we don't recognize that. We don't understand it or know that. And we think that, oh, there's a little bit of suffering now, but it'll finish and then I'll be happy. It'll be okay later. And as a result of thinking like this, we cycle through all of the realms of samsara, experiencing suffering, and we are stuck here still in samsara. And we have the hope that that suffering is going to run out someday, but it never does. Because wherever we are born in the 6 realms of samsara, we're only going to experience suffering, and there's no true happiness anywhere. For example, if we think about it with this lifetime, when a baby is born, the moment the baby emerges from the mother's womb, at that moment it can't see anything, it can't do anything, it can't say anything. But when it comes out, it doesn't laugh and giggle at that point. It comes out crying. And why is that? It's because that's the moment when all the suffering, samsaric suffering of this life begins. But we don't know that. We don't recognize that. And so for that reason, until now, we have been wandering in samsara, experiencing suffering. And as a result, we have been unable to do anything to benefit others in this lifetime because we cherish ourselves so strongly. And so because of that ego clinging, we cannot help others. And for that reason, we have been unable to achieve Buddhahood.
那所有的众生呢，包括我们呢，都想要快乐，都想要这个喜悦，那就是因为我们对自己有太强烈的贪着，所以我们一昧的寻求这些快乐还有喜悦。那依佛法的这个观点呢，其实是无我的。佛法中有说有无我这个概念，而这个概念呢，是与其他的宗教都有别于其他宗教的，没有其他的宗教有说到无我这个概念。那除了无我呢，更是没有我或是我的这样的概念。如果有这样的我的话呢，我们则会想说，哦，我很棒，我想要这个，我想要那个，会有种种的这些想法。那在佛陀初转法轮的时候，他就开示了4圣谛。那4圣谛当中的第一谛就是苦谛，就是要教我们认知苦，知道有苦，就是我们首先必须知道的就是有苦这件事。那从无始以来，我们就在轮回当中，而这就是缘由我们对自身的这个执着，对我这个执着太过于的强烈，因此呢，我们没有办法脱离，没有办法解脱轮回。所以不管我们在哪里呢，不管我们在轮回当中的哪一道，不管轮回到何处，我们都只有痛苦可言。但是我们并不知道，确实是这么一回事。我们一直觉得我们现在所受的痛苦总有一天会结束的，然后一切都会好起来的。但事实上呢，我们还是困于这个轮回当中，而没有办法解脱。主要就是因为我们没有了解到说这个痛苦不会停止，因为我们一直在寻求一个出口，一直觉得这个痛苦有一天会停止。那举个例子来说，当一个婴儿，当一个一个婴儿，他刚刚从他在母亲的这个胎里成长，然后呢，在这个过程他是对外面的世界一无所知的。但是当他出生的这一刹那，他首先做了什么事？他首先是大哭，而不是大笑。因为从一个婴儿出生的这一刻开始，他就开始感受到这个人的痛苦了，这所有的痛苦就由此而生。但是呢，我们并不知道这样，我们并没有体悟到这一点。所以呢，从无始以来一直到现在，在轮回当中，我们一直在受苦，而且呢，没有办法，因为自己的痛苦而没有办法去帮助其他的人，而我们没有帮助其他的人，又是因为我们太过于的执着自己，所以呢，导致于我们 没有心去帮助他人，更没有这个成佛的这个机会了。
Teni ngaranzo yinpa yinaya, ten ngaranzo ta jamru tomba sho, Gabriela chanchu semba ki tomba sho, teni tomba semke che, jamru che chö sho, teni che mambo che ngaranzo nangyo yore, chö nyamnen che. Ten ngambi ki tutu, lani Gabriela ngaranzo ki soso ki semke kone, nak semche ne mela nyoba kya, ngui su ne kya da, nyo semche ne nyoba kya, teni che kyo nangyores. Tende ne bakia wala tene ngaranzo tene ne bakia wala tene ngaranzo ke tarwada tamji kembe komala tobyo mana chitang ngaro kyamro semge deganna shege ngaranzo namba tawji baina ta lama namba karesungen choba sewa meba ini sungore choba sewa meba tawa tenjung sene sungore yang karesungore sene choba sewa mena 소소 랑라 미셴발라 펜 따마토바이나 너바 마킹이지 지야데 베 게이셴벌에 송거레 되게도 당하란조 겸로 sem기 엔 도바데도 레네데 인지미지 되는 거란조게 세워면 바지야데 베 게이셴벌들이 남바게다 예나면다지 따와 텐준도 줘봐 세워면 바데 차데 거레스
So what we often do is we take refuge vows, and some of us take bodhisattva vows, and we recite bodhicitta and refuge, and we request Dharma teachings, and we do all of these. But in actuality, what happens is that in our mind, we're harboring covetous thoughts. And then we have malicious thoughts for other people. And because we covet things and because we have malice, then we end up harming people. And for that reason, we are unable to achieve enlightenment and liberation and omniscience. And because when we go for refuge, when we rouse bodhicitta, when we're Buddhist, basically, as many masters have said, the main point of being Buddhist is that in our conduct, we must do nothing harmful. And in our view must be the view of interdependence. Otherwise, so what is most important here is that we, even if we aren't able to benefit other people, at the very least, we must do nothing that harms them. And so for refuge and bodhicitta, it's really important that we do nothing that causes harm, that we practice nonviolence or non-harm. This is the most critical aspect of Buddhism.
所以呢，我们呢会常常会这个受这个皈依戒，或是有些人甚至会受这个菩萨戒。然后呢，我们会这样子的去念诵皈依文，去请法等等。但是呢，很多人内心却藏着这个不善的这种想法，甚至是害人的想法。然后呢，这些想法呢，之后又会转成这个行为，真正的去伤害到其他的人。也因此呢，我们没有办法证得遍知的佛果。那就如往昔的这个大师常说，我们身为这个佛教徒，主要的修持就是不去伤害其他的众生。然后呢，主要的正确的见解就是对这个因果还有这个相互依赖性的这种见解，是我们必须要持有的。那如果我们没有办法做到帮助其他人，最低限度可以做的就是不去伤害其他的人。所以呢，这个在我们做皈依，在做这个发菩提心，这两个修持最重要的一点就是不为其他的众生带来任何的伤害，这是佛教当中最重要的一点。
Tene sanje ngwana lama miru sung tamsa tumi katin ngangi ches randu ma tsena yiche kum zuche na la tesam lota tip lama kena tuje nitus mugu tima pebar chinji lo sene sungere tende sunde zamala karire sana ngaranzu chöba inanza chö jenge inara zuche sho ta diba che sho ta karire yore sana rewa ta 도반이라 ngaranzo yongde yores songores Tende zambala, tende najur wanju ngalanzo milare pake kari sungwe resa milare pake namdana. Nang rangsen sungwe masina chi shenlu sungwa chi la pen se sungwa. Jinna rangi sem zimbi tuyla paabs. Sem shedang pongwe tiru tuyos. Da kyoki nawala nyumong shedang masoba ripari lona shorki do tsuri lona lodo sere sene. Reto nga la korwa kyam sene, rewa dang tobi nga la teni tab mirar mochagi namgur nga la dinde chene sungyo re sene. Di nashi nga ranzo cha deyo res.
So the text continues on page 63. Our Lama is actually an appearance of the Buddha himself, but we take him to be an ordinary human being. We come to forget the Lama's kindness in giving us the profound instructions. We are upset if we do not get what we want. We see the Lama's activity and behavior through the veil of doubt and wrong views. Lama, think of us, behold us swiftly with compassion. Bless us that to be free of obscurations with that our devotion increase. And so here, when we are doing our Dharma practice, when we're meditating or doing practice, our biggest problem is that we have expectations and fears, hopes and fears. And Milarepa spoke about this in one of his songs that is given in the song in the life of Milarepa. And to paraphrase the song, what he is saying is that if we are going to tame anything, tame your own mind. If you try to help others externally, you will not benefit anything, or benefit anyone. So if you're going to catch anything, you need to catch your own mind. You need to give up all the activities of anger. You need to give up your angry mind. And you must avoid having expectations about the future. It is because of expectations and fears that we wander in samsara. And so this is what Milarepa said in one of the songs recorded in his life.
接着呢，这个偈子是上师即佛，却只为凡夫，开示身教恩德悬遗忘。若即所愿不遂，即退心，怀疑施行而为邪见僻。上师见之我，其以慈悲及垂顾，加持增长前进，勿退失。那在我们的佛法修持里，不管是这个修法还是禅修，我们最大的障碍呢，就是我们自己对于这个修持的期望，或是这个疑虑，或是畏惧。那在密勒日巴尊者他的生平的这个传记当中呢，就有他的一首道歌。那白话来讲，他是这么说的：如果你要降服任何一个东西，首先降服你自己的心。你想要帮助他人的话呢，从外在的这些行为是没有办法帮助到任何人的。如果你要捕捉任何个东西，东西，首先呢，捕捉你自己的这个嗔恨的情绪，那不要对这个未来有任何的期望。
Teni ta kari sungyo re sana susu de tsawi lama, ani keke, pama, susu la katin chumbe ta nga tu tawa chi mana, chinda, ani dega nana kenrap, susu le kenbi, ani katin chumbo dindu la, nga ranzo nying takpa ni ngune chena, ani nga ranzo katin kuishap, pe katin chumbo shivuchare pama, teni keke tsama de katin res. Himayina nga ranzo kari chegore, rangdo majo tsene iche gomza. Soso rangla dyobaji yobayina, pama tang, keken tang, lama tang, tsama la pekatin chenpoche go. Sangyo yore, samshe. Soso la dyobaji mebayina, ane pama, keken, lama la ina, ane rangi kaso iche dawaji. Dyoba mebayina, didula dine, katin chenpoche sangyo yomare, katin de che yore.
So what the text is saying here is basically that when we have our root guru, teachers, our parents, they're all extremely kind for us. For example, if we are monastic, then our sponsors are very kind. Our elders are kind to us. And so we have to recognize that they have been extremely kind for us, whether our parents or our teachers or whoever it is, they've all been extremely kind to us. But what happens is that if we want something, if we like something, then we remember their kindness with our parents or our teachers. If we want what they're saying, if we like what they're saying, then we think they're very kind. But when we don't want it, when it's what we don't want, then we forget about how kind they actually have been. We don't remember and we forget and we don't think of them as being kind.
那在这里呢，说到我们的上师，不管是我们的根本上师，我们的某位导师，甚至是我们的父母，这些人呢，都是对我们有非常巨大的恩德的，都有恩于我们的，对我们非常慈悲的。那身为出家人的话呢，则是种种诸位功德者啊，还有他们的，还有出家众的这些他们的这个上一辈的这些这个师父还有师兄。这些人呢，都是对我们有极大的这个恩德的。那我们这样普通来说，也知道他们有恩于我们。但是呢，如果在这个实际情况下，当他们给我们的东西是我们想要的，或是他们所说的言语是我们想听的，我们就会突然想起啊，他们对我们很好，真的是对我们很慈悲。但相反的，如果他们当下讲的话不是我们想听的，我们这很容易就忘记他们是对于我们慈悲的，根本就不会想到他们是有恩于我们的。
랑셈 상계 인장 오마셰스 남도 최고 인자 더마도 마주 뉴마 인자 경마도 라밥 넬로 인자 이마체 라마케는 토제니 도체스 라리 랑사 도버 진지로스 용의 치와닝의 ter마도스 뱅의 담주 순주 투마도 땡의 레네란도 추심에 공의 텐제 마대 양외 라마케는 토제니 도스 양외 잡았음바 진지로 선의 송로에 덴도인도 잠발라 가르에서는 나란족이 셈데 상계 임바다 나란족이 무식이요 말해서 나란족 셈데 상계 임바다 오마셰데 가르에서는 다 나란족 뒤준독이 되네 나란족 교를 대버치고 닝보 요래서 무식이요 말 오마셰데 가르제 무식이요 말에서는 빼나 차샤바이나 되는 나란족이 빼나 차샤면 나란족 결 나란족이 강바치기 나마 소소도 되사기 니리기 오라 지 니리지 오라 되니 세도도 지 요바임바이나 되니 세도도 데 세리임바 하마고 데 샤샤바이나 코펜도 가요 말했어 계세 니세 올라 세데 세리임바다 하고 베제 땅 세대기 좀 베제 땅 용어야 베제 땅야 정말이나 되니 데데문에 베제 좀 펜도 좀 배대저도 나란조 셈나 상계 기 뭐마데 요래데 이나야 나란조기 아니 상계 예마데 무식이 오마레스 대가 나치 남도 최고이냐면 나란조 남도데 남도 장야 그뭐라 디기 전에 되니 나란조 남도데 최고라 귤마도 덜마도 받잖아 남도 최고도 덜마도 받잖아 최고데 남도 장야 나오지 강라 도데 요래스
And so the text continues, starting from page 65. Our own mind is the Buddha, but we do not recognize it. All concepts or all thoughts are the Dhammakaya, but we do not realize it. This is the uncontrived natural state, but we cannot sustain it. This is the true nature of mind settled into itself, but we are unable to believe it. Lama, think of us, behold us swiftly with compassion. Bless us that self-awareness be liberated in its ground. Death is certain to come, but we are unable to take this to heart. Genuine Dharma is certain to benefit, but we are unable to practice correctly. The truth of karmic cause and effect is certain, but we do not decide correctly what to give up and accept. It is certainly necessary to be mindful and alert, but these qualities are not stable within, and we are carried away by distraction. Lama, think of us, behold us swiftly with compassion. Bless us that we stay mindful with no distractions. So here, what this is saying is that our minds are actually Buddhas, but we do not recognize that. So why is that? Why is it that we do not recognize that we have Buddha nature within ourselves? Well, it's kind of like if you have in your house, there's a hunk of gold. You have a big piece of gold in your house, and it's stuffed under your mattress or under your bed someplace. You don't even know that it's there. And even if you found it, you wouldn't recognize it as gold. But if you find that gold and then recognize that it's gold, then you can take it out and you can use it, you can sell it, you can get the money, you can use it, and then it's going to be beneficial. Likewise, within our mind, there is a Buddha in our mind. There's Buddha nature in our mind, but we do not recognize that it is a Buddha. Like the nature of our thoughts is, the essence of thoughts is the Dharmakaya, but we don't recognize that, and as a result, we just get carried away by our thoughts. We don't realize the meaning of them. We don't realize that the Dharmakaya displays his thoughts, and we just get carried away by that.
接着呢，法本的第65页，自心即佛，但不是本性；妄念即法身，尽不了悟；任运即真性，却难保任；自然即本性，却不相信。上师见之我，其以慈悲及垂顾，加持解脱，自明自性地。死亡必来，不堪心意持；正法实义，不堪如理修。业果真谛不如理取舍，念之必要不一而散逸。那首先呢，我们讲到我们的心，自心即佛，但不是本性。在这里呢，我们的心就是佛，但是我们并没有这个认出来这个佛性。这就好比在我们自己的这个家里，我们的床垫下可能藏了一块金子，但是呢，我们首先不知道这块金子在哪里。那么，当我们找到它、发掘它的时候，我们也不会认出它是金子，因此对我们是无用的。但是呢，相反的，如果我们在找到它的时候认出来了它是金子，我们会知道它是值钱的，是可以变卖，并且实际上利益我们的。那非常相似的，我们呢，则是一直以来没有发觉我们自己就拥有这个如来性，拥有佛性、如来藏。那在这里呢，说到妄念即法身，尽不了悟，就是这个意思，就是我们的念头它的本性其实就是法身，但是呢，我们并不知道这些念头是什么意思，我们就是一直被它牵着鼻子走，而没有发觉它的本性。
Tene ta ngaranzo majo nyuma ina kyoma nu se. Ta ngaranzo majo nyuma ina kyoma tu se na kom ma kyama bi kom nyamnyung mengengi miji mana ta nyuma se na kande yo na se kiranzo hago ma une kom kyame kom nyamnyung gyoje ina tene majo nyuma ina tene kande yongyo ba kiranzo hago majo sem chuma ma imbi raji 제 공장의 많이 말랑이 동바 지요레스 근데 여바이나 아니 교림보 제 소속이 아니 알아도 되 교림보 제가네 맞아 육만이나 경만에서 윤경의 교림보 제 경누고요 말해서 알아도 생기 좀 많이 마 갈리시 경누고요 말해서 대가 나시 라밤네로 이제 이 맞아 소속이다 고미시도 신의 라도야고 저는 소소랑 이런 네로 세미네로 라베네로 야고 제 하고나야 나란도 뇽몬 바왕이 레마다게는 소소sem이양 이 맞춰봐 되는지 연구하래. 되는데 라마게는 토진이 도시 당가란도 맞춰 뇽만이나 좀 누워 용로치스 라바네로 이제 이체월 용로치스 남도 주구이나 돌마도 보다 또 보여 그래서 란서 상계 이마도 뭐마치는 뭐셔버 제로치 라마치랑 가랑이 대바다 먹이 요바데 라마치 오니 도지 징니 텐데 용말 제로치 진질로로치 하는 송거레스
And it says this is the uncontrived natural state, but we cannot sustain it. So if we don't know how to meditate and we don't really know we don't know what the actual nature is. If we are able to settle into actually able to meditate, actually rest without contriving, without altering the mind, if we are actually able to meditate on the nature as it is, we could see how it is and how it's empty and all this, but we are not able to do that. We aren't able, we would need to be able to sustain that for a long period of time, but we are unable to do that. And instead, we end up always in contrived states of mind. We are unable to sustain it. Or we say, this is the true nature of mind settled into itself, but we are unable to believe it. Or you could say, this is the nature, just let be, but we don't believe it. So it's just the nature of when you just let the nature of the mind, we just have to know what it is well. But what happens for us is because of our afflictions and our impure karma, we just don't believe that that's the actual nature of the mind. And because we don't believe that, we say, we are asking the Guru, please think of us, look at us swiftly with compassion. Help me so that I can recognize that so that I can believe that the nature itself, let be, is the nature of mind, or that bless me that I'll be able to sustain the uncontrived natural state. Bless me to realize that all thoughts are the Dharmakaya, or please bless me so that I can recognize that my own mind is the Buddha. So please bless me. Please grant your blessings that I be able to do this.
然后呢，说了任愿即真性，却难保任。那在这里呢，就是说，我们如果让我们自己的心任愿的，就是随它自然的状态这么安住，这就是我们心的本来的原貌。但是呢，我们并没有办法这样安住，没有办法这样入禅定，没有办法这样毫无造作的去这个让我们的心安住于这样的这个自然的状态下。也因为我们没有办法维持这样自然的状态下，我们一直没有办法认出心的本性是如此自然不造作，就是这样子如是的一般的。那就算我们有这样子机会见到了心的这样自然的样貌，我们自己也不相信。所以呢，我们也不相信这个法性本来就是如此。那所以呢，我们在这里要祈请上师见知我们，祈以慈悲及垂顾加持解脱自明自信地，也就是呢，请上师加持我们可以看到我们的心是如此如是的一般状态，自然而然的没有造作的这样子的本性。加持呢，祈请上师加持我们，可以让我们了解我们的妄念的这个本性就是法身，我们自心的本性就是这个如来藏。然后呢，祈请上师让我们可以这样子去相信，这样子去看到心的本貌。
인데 담발라 되는 나라저 뒤전도 다니 곰자데 계시모레스 상기 마이나라 자초바이 마이나라 데자베 상기 당하면 버죠 전주 차단 되니 곰자발라 때는 상기에마도 퇴바장장 전에 상기에서는 상기어 말레스 그래서는 곰자 퇴삼 곰전에 상기어레스 텐데인데 담을 뒤준도 나란서 곰대 겨와는 니마질라처럼 쇼케 추즈 주는 추즈치 마주는 추즈체까지 야보 신의 야보 신의 곰대단라다 소소 올라테네 곰바에 곰나레 텔라테네 곰나레 소소 야보 전에 zubo 야보 체 근데 zubo 다나 셈다나 짜다나 셈다우스 zubo 야보 슐리치 너는 저도 야보 전에 추즈체가 야보 지 곰잡다스 곰대잖아 소속의 쌤 쯤마 마인기 쌤대하고 쌤 내서나 란신기 쌤나 대화당 기보지 되지 연구원에서 디난 신지기 쌤다 대화 기보지 요하데 말아줘 둘로지 보고 칼라 심보 사기 디 대화를 그 최초벌에서는 대화 그 대화 최초 말했어 곰이하고 저디기 하는 거라도 쌤 대화 쌤 딜라야 배워 개와 심말라야 배워 미세야 된다는 데마저 보지 차용거래서 말한저 뒤균도 가르치고래 말한다고 이마다 차샤만 니마질라 라고라 뒤균도 라고라 폰데 쌤데레스 위치한 아니마레 탱가저 저기도 페이스북나 탱가저 저기도 딜라 양스 저거레스 페디나 신기 나란족이 쌤들라 지공들이 양스 된저지 저도바이나 우니 나란족이 루이당 쌤이 제바이나 쌤데 야보지 따고자 쌤데 소경 야보지 제바이나 소소 트den라 페마 쌤바의 기보 쌤데 기보다 대화여 받는 지도라 고려라 펜다도 쟤네 잠바다 인제 제발을 되는데니 나란족라 밀라 펜다도 안되지 요거레스 근데 뒤균도 나란족이 미망샤지 가르치거나 소소 쌤들라 소경잔 지고 말해 추응오다 출로 둘로 집어 고야나 출로 소소 동법 메갑 지야나 따서야 둘로 집어 고야나 근데 짱짱 남아도 쌤데 지야고지 타고 말했어 근데 잠발라 나란족이 지금 룰라 나자다 트den이면 출로를 메갑 잡아다 둘로 야고 고말 때는 아주 쌤이 헬다 팽이래서 디 팽이 말에 지당 나란족다 남시 장무 중도 가나 둘로 투보 고야다 정보 고야한테 계좌자 팽이래 참아 나야 된 팽이래 이나 대응 엄마기 하나도 저들나 딩스틱 난기 소경 제와는지 팽이와 말해서 쌤 쪼데 하나도 쌤데 소경 제네 신내 하고 된저도 곰 잡아를 때니 이는 하나도 팽이어레스 대가 나시 또곰 저도 잠발라 신내 라동 고등을 땐라 여박이 곰자 양우라 때네 곰자 되게 잠마도 봐이나 까불까불라 소소랑이 다가 다기 공도 시원 다 진짜 배숙천보다 매바차라 가르쳐버려 소소라니 이담을 하고 소소에 물을 붙여라 매바도 상게 멜라라 거봐도 주준 조말라 매바도 소소 이담을 하가리 서로 셈 매바이나 소소라니 타마바 마이마 딜하데이 진디가랑 나 템바데 마체바제네 데레체 칼리 레비체네 야케 통통은 오네 텐텐 자자자다 벤토도 용그레스
So it's really important. It's extremely important that we meditate regularly. Whether you think about the Buddha, whether you think about the Arhats, or you think about the Buddhas, the innumerable Buddhas in all the realms, they all achieved Buddhahood by meditating. If we only study and listen, are we able to achieve Buddhahood? No, because you have to go through all three steps of listening, contemplating, and meditating. That's how you get to Buddhahood. So we need to meditate regularly. For example, I think you should all meditate every morning, whether you meditate for an hour or a half an hour. You should do an hour or a half an hour of shamatha meditation. And you can either meditate upon your own breath, or you can meditate upon a support for the meditation. But with your body, you sit up straight, because when your body is sitting up straight, and when the body is straight, then the channels are straight. And when the channels inside the body are straight, then the mind will run straight. And so in this way, you can do a half an hour of meditation every day. Please meditate a half an hour every day. And just rest, letting your mind be. And if you do this, then you just naturally will begin to feel happiness and pleasure. So is this, if you were, so for example, if you wear nice clothes and you dress up in good clothes and you wear good foods, is that going to give you the same type of pleasure? It can't even come close to the same pleasure that you give. When you meditate, you feel pleasure, mental pleasure in this lifetime, and you're doing something that is going to be beneficial for yourself in this lifetime and in future lifetimes as well. You're doing something that will make your human life meaningful. what happens to us is what we do normally is we spend all day, especially me, I spend all day with a phone in my hand, and I'm always looking at WeChat. I'm always going to WeChat. I'm always going to Facebook. And if we were, instead of doing that, if we were always going to our mind, what would it be like? So we're doing this over and over again. So we need to do the same thing. We need to meditate over and over again. We have to we have both our body and mind, and it's most important to take care of our mind, to really to take ownership over our mind, to take care of our mind. For example, if we do this, it'll bring us pleasure and mental happiness. Now, if we're to do and it'll also do things that'll help us feel, if we do this, it'll also help us in society and outside. It'll help us increase our loving kindness and compassion. So usually we don't do this much. Usually we don't really take care of ourselves of our mind so much. Instead, we take care of the external things. We wear nice clothes. We take care of our health. We put on makeup to look good. We do things to make ourselves good, but we don't really take care of our mind. We're not taking care of our mind in any way. And so when we're always taking care of our health and looking and taking care of our appearance and putting on makeup and so forth, does this help the mind at all? It doesn't help the mind. Now, of course, when the weather is cold, you have to wear warm clothes, because if you don't wear warm clothes and you end up getting a cold, then that doesn't help. So of course you have to do that. But otherwise, worrying about it doesn't help. Instead, you need to take care of your mind. And what helps you take care of your mind is practicing shamatha and insight meditation. So when you are meditating, you can sit, and then you can either meditate on some sort of a support for meditation, or you can meditate upon your breath. And you do this yourself. Now, sometimes you might find that you yourself are unable to do that because you just cling to yourself too strongly. So what can you do in that instance? Well, you can meditate on yourself as any of the various yidam meditational deities. You can visualize yourself as Guru Yoga, or you can visualize yourself as the medicine Buddha, visualize yourself as Tara, and whichever deity you wish to meditate on, you just visualize yourself and you think, I'm this deity, and just keep your mindfulness and meditate upon that, and that's definitely 100% going to help you.
所以呢，这个实修或是这个禅定或是禅修是非常重要的一个部分，而且是我们必须要做的一个修持。本师释迦牟尼佛还有往昔的诸位这个阿罗汉，甚至是所有这个佛净土的佛菩萨们，他们都是透过禅修禅定来达到来证得这个佛果的。所以光是听闻还有思维这个佛法并不足够，还需要实修这一步，要闻思修三步都具足，才有办法证得佛果。那可以的话呢，平时我们我建议就是大家早上可以花一点时间来做禅修，可以花个半个钟头到1个小时做这个极止的禅修，要么是可以做数息的禅修，或是呢有一个这个物品作为对境，这样子专注的做这个极止的禅修。那在做禅修的时候呢，我们要注意我们的身体是这个像剑一样笔直的，就是当我们的身体姿势是好的，是直的，那我们这个体内的这个气脉也会是笔直的，这样子气才有办法通畅，我们的心才有办法静下来。所以请大家呢，这样子每天做半个小时的禅修，这样一来呢，你会自然而然的感到喜悦。那打个比方，我们平常呢都是会注重要这个穿好的衣服，要吃好的食物，这样呢会为我们带来喜悦。但是呢，这些喜悦呢，远远比不过这个禅修禅定的这种喜悦。因为禅修的时候呢，我们得到的是心理的一种喜悦，不仅是今生当下得到了这种心理上的喜悦，这种修持也对我们的来世有非常大的利益。所以呢，会让我们这个为我们今生的这个人生带来意义，具足意义。 那我们呢，尤其以我自己为例，我总是手上握着一只手机，然后呢，时不时就上这个微信、上脸书，一直翻、一直翻、一直看。但是呢，我们试着想象，如果我们把这些时间都用在禅修上面，那我们的心会是变成怎么样的一个状态呢？所以呢，我们很有必要去做禅修，我们要有办法可以自己为自己可以主宰自己的身体还有心灵，那在这里呢，我们通常都会想说，我们生理上想要快乐，想要找到这个喜悦，所以在社会啊，在外呢，我们总是会这个追求身体的这种快乐。那如果呢，我们在外在只是注重生理上的这些衣服，我们的健康，还有我们的这个妆容等等，然后呢，我们就很容易忽略了我们的心，我们忽略了自己心，总是将我们的这个健康还有外在摆在第一，这样子呢，对我们的心理的健康一点都没有帮助，对我们的心的成长一点都没有帮助。当然，如果外面的这个天转冷了。转凉了，我们必定要添衣服要保暖。但是除此之外呢，这种执着外在的执着，对我们自己的内心一点帮助都没有。所以呢，我们要更着重于好好的这个维护我们的心，好好的培养我们的心。那要怎么培养？就是透过极止的禅修，还有这个圣观的禅修，就是止观两种禅修。那极止的禅修，就如刚刚说的，可以以一个物品作为对境，然后一心的专注于它做禅修，或是呢可以做这个呼吸数息的禅修。那这两种禅修呢，这两种极止的禅修都是我们自己可以做的。那如果当下觉得做不来、定不下，那另一种禅修就是可以观想自己为本尊，任何一尊本尊都可以，可以观想自己是莲花生大士，观想自己是药师佛或是度母，这样子，然后保持着这个觉察，这样子去做观修，这也是100%会有帮助的。
Teni pena cha cha trabu chine ngarang trabu chi cha cha bayi na chitangi namba tsui kiranzu ta ngaranzu mima kiranzu tsama ta mangbo chi lo mangbo chi ne ngarang ngushe tsari kiranzu kasi sambala ta kumba jibu china te ani shala yabo chu teni kibu shivu re samsan trabu chi teni trensik re inba ina ta te kumba tala tutu sambala teni ngama lama chigi peyu ni sun res Nema nga peyu desa, gomba shanya la kale midu, gomba kyongya la kale tu, sendiri chene koso, nga ma lama tembi kyaze sa nga peyu la yore. Chenta nga didi lo chungyo rana, gomba shanya la kale midu sakido, gomba kyongya la kande raji kale yona, koi kari raji shigi na, sam dede raji trens. Dinde indi tsambala ta nga ranzu dela imbayi na, gomba dinde shangsare, dinde indi tsambala dela ta, kendumba kashi yore, dinde dela loma chinda mambo yungu yore. And dende tsambala, tene nga komba tila tuti tsambala, tene ta trawa tijula yang chik kaso trewa chik chibur. Chinda tijula trewa chik chibur. Kangi rabda rimbacha mambo che che yungore se. Ta kune tena, ta komba la keranda nambe zaba komba la ta chungune korwa ta pang sare se. Ta komba de korwa pang sa kibu shibu yore se. Korwa ta chik chena ni komba de la korwa ta ucha de yore se ta. Tinala pa mambo chenyoda ramda de mambo chiyores ani yondu chambala tene tene jo mambo chiyo te chambala tinyota de la ngai tonglen khande chen chiyores na mai tonglen de shoge ya lansa de nga komdi kya we shine ti komde ya bo kya chawe na e nimu de la nezu kari chungwa ina ya nezu ya tu ja kari chungwa ina de ne ma fe semra fenda wa jin de chi chungwa de Kesi shoge chela dawichi chung yago chen machu wana komji kya madwa ina nga ki semde da nga sang machu di zambala chi tharwa to mende zambala dine tama bada indi ka kapre la dine taki kongdo shiwa na chen chi ne te de yanda chobi sosu nangdo rangsan che dambandre bas kienda teze tama ba san chiwa dina shingi shuru dinde ya chu ina ya nga indi la kapte cha ne dine nyamne tungdo chung dide chen de che gores 임바이나 데데도 잠발라 동네 데데 지 코디 잠발라 카페카랑 가르팅도 sana 오늘 나랑 게 사주 국교 대화지 또 리더비지도 다 곰잡 다 폴롱업 주심 저거를 롱업 주심 저거를 더도 다 디나라 직진하다올라 펠레시 직 다와드둘라 펠레시 딘데지나 되되나 카브레카브라 직 파주 바로기 제교를 때네 티 나랑 셈 마데발라키 나랑 냠면 야고 매발라 때네 대감서지 나랑 직 냠는다 마트도 잠발라 다 리트르트 저 삼데 그래서 얘는 가르 삼을 때 그래서 땅문에 다네 나랑 줄라 배 미세 카딘 쳔고 자빌라마 오늘 다네게 딱죠 접제 통으로 먼저 나랑 줄 자빌라마데 공로 고추는 센터거래 딘데지기 라마지긴 제친 홍기 다 제친 선남에도 다 홍기 가리 있는 좀 딘데지때 나게 딱지 공부들 이유네 샤네 도 딘데지 제도금인도 좀 요다다오지 리보첼는데 쇼에나 딘데 자빌라마라 케치 자면 딘데지 투 마데바서나 되게 나라 되는 아마지 바치 자빌라마데 투 마게나 아니 조조자와 세단자와 투 얘기 말에 섬 자빌라마게 까라 몰라 씨네 되는 거라게 단답받도야 간두도 그 되게 체인스 되는 단단 나랑 저기 때려 최신의 인도도 최신의 나랑라 유능기 차네 가면서 또 거기 전에 가면서 가르에서는 나한테 rumbuchigi 투기 진랍다고 지다 배나 차자고 나가 로스 rumbuchigi 로세스나 생한지다 파르세나 빵한지 니들다고 지금 원지는 나랑 rumbuchigi 자빌라마도 까지 줘봐이나 내가 미즈 던던데 마차그래 선는데 내전에 말하기 드리지데 semcho에 내려도 잠발라 나이 내도 내려도 잠발라 가리 팽게도잖아 오늘 곰자와라 따다 팽게도 내려도 잠발라 결혼주의면은 당원에 다네 지된들라 타센스 타자자 마모 내주 랍다리 마모도 그랬어 가리 팽게라서 뭐 곰자네 인지 문제 결혼도 펜도 좀 그래서 믿었어.
It's like, for example, if you think about me and my situation, you've all known me for many years. And you probably might think to yourselves, oh, Lama gets to stay in the monastery. Oh, it's really nice at the monastery. He's got a sweet life there in the monastery. It's quite possible that you think about it like this. But actually, when I'm staying here, it's really kind of difficult. Like there was a Lama I met in Nepal who once said to me many years ago, he said to this, building a monastery is not so difficult. It's maintaining the monastery that is difficult. And I thought to myself when he said that, I thought, how could that be? What's that like? Well, so now here I've come here and we've built the monastery. We've got a small sangha here, and we've got some students and sponsors, and we're staying here. And when I stay here, I have to keep on making connections with the monks. I have to make connections with the sponsors, and actually, it's kind of difficult. You might think to yourself, "Oh, they're in the monastery. They're removed. They've left samsara. It must be lovely in there. Left samsara." Sometimes I think that actually, once we've gotten into the monastery, it's even bigger samsara. That there are even more problems in the monastery. And so, how do I deal with this? What do I do so I can accept it and face up to it? Well, what I do is I get up early in the morning, and when I get up, I do some meditation. And if I do meditation, that makes it so that no matter what situations occur in the day, I'm able to help handle them. It can really help me do this. And some days, if I get like really busy and I don't do this, then sometimes it just gets it's just harder to deal with the situations from the day. And on those days, it really feels to me like we're saying the words, saying the lines of the text from above, where it says, if you look from outside, seems like a true Dharma practitioner. If you look on the inside, is hiding all the faults inside. When circumstances arise, they lose it all. And so it's because of doing this practice in the morning. So it's that's what's really helped. Sometimes I think to myself, oh, wouldn't it just be better? I mean, I'm an ordinary monk. I haven't got any realization or anything, and I'm nearly 50 years old. Maybe I should just leave it all and go off into the mountains and find a nice isolated retreat and go and do meditation there. And so I think that if I could go do there, go someplace else and do that, then that would be good, because and so because when I'm staying here, sometimes it's just not it's not easy, and it's difficult to do practice, and so I often think about going to retreat. But if I were to do that, what always keeps me here is I always remember the great kindness of our root guru, Khenchen Tongpa Rinpoche. He's all of our root gurus, and he's like close to 90. And he has done so many great things in his lifetime. And so if I were to do that, if I were to make some sort of a scene and go off into retreat, then what would my root guru think about that? And I think if I displeased my root guru, then it'd be the same as displeasing all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions. And so I do as my root guru has taught. And so I do this. And so I'm just an ordinary person. I don't have any particular qualities. I don't have any realization. But because of the blessings of Rinpoche, I come here and do what I can. And I think that this is something that is giving meaning to my life. But what really helps me in the situation, it's doing meditation every day. And so I think that if you also do the same thing, it will really help you no matter what. If you meditate every morning, it'll really help you a lot, no matter what situations arise in the day. So I think it's very good to meditate every morning.
再来呢，以我自己为这个范例，在座的许多这个法友都已经认识我许多年了。那可能有些人会想说，哦，拉玛他真不错，他就待在寺庙就好了，真是美好的一生啊。但是其实呢，待在寺庙有许多的困难。以前呢，我在尼泊尔认识一位僧人，他曾经跟我说，要建造寺庙是很容易的一件事，但是要维持、要护持这个寺庙的是更大的这个困难。那当时呢，我就不懂，我就觉得怎么会这样子说呢？怎么可能要维持寺庙是困难的事呢？然后呢，一直到我来到了这里建立的寺庙之后呢，我们开始有一个小的僧团，然后有许多这个功德主，还有许多的法友弟子们，我才这个体会到了这点。因为呢，我要时不时的维持大家的这个关系，我要去跟这个僧团，要管这个僧团的和谐，要去维持跟这个功德主还有弟子们的关系，所以呢，其实是很困难的一件事。有些人可能觉得啊，这些僧人住在寺院里真好，他们脱离了轮回，断舍了轮回。但其实有时候在这里遇到的事情，让我觉得这里好像有更放大的轮回，也在这个寺院里好像更多的困难。所以呢，在每天早上起床的时候，我会做一点禅修，这样子呢，不论接下来的一天带来什么样的事情，我好像都可以比较容易的、坦然的面对并且处理。有时候呢，我在日常生活当中会过于的繁忙，导致于我早上没有办法做这样的禅修。这样子呢，我常常会发现这一天下来遇到事情的时候，解决问题就变得比较艰难一点了。所以呢，早上这样的禅修是会有非常大的帮助的。那有时候呢，在这里面对了这么多事情，有时候我会想说，其实我也就是一个很平凡无奇的一个僧人，可能我可以考虑去深山里这个进修，好好的闭关一下，因为呢，在这里确实不太容易。但是呢，每当我想到什么会让我停止这样的想法呢？就是每当我想到，这个慈悲的上师、根本上师创古仁波切，给予我的一切，我会想说，如果我突然这么闹翻了，然后走了，自己去做闭关了，那他会怎么想呢？如果让他不欢喜了，就如之前所说的，就变得这个让诸佛菩萨都不欢喜了，所以呢，这个刚刚漏掉了一点，就是 拉玛说呢，他觉得他自己有时候这样子的这个情绪呢，就好像我们刚刚法本中所说到的，外表俨然清净，行者相，于自内心却与法相违，如毒蛇般烦恼藏于心，欲远即路行者之罪机。拉玛就说他觉得他自己好像有时候这样子，但是每每想到创古人迫切给予他的一切，他就会想说，这样子会让我的根本上是不欢喜，这样就等同令十方三世的诸佛都不欢喜了。所以呢，我虽然身为凡夫，一点功德都没有，但是透过这个根本上师的这个加持，我这一生具足了意义。所以呢，在这里我就会坚持下去。然后呢，我觉得让我坚持下去，或者帮助我坚持下去的，就是每天的这样的一座禅修。所以我觉得，如果各位也可以花一点时间在早上做禅修的话，也同样会有所利益的。
Tene ngol langebe nyingbe dodarke ngarje tamje donga gyuru song strongen namje tikbe tebe yo tome lembo kejo yangwe ke lama keno toje nyutu so chonla nyure nyubar jinji lo sa songore tene kare songore sana ta ngaranzo gi ta tiringa zange tuje de nyingmi gi tu tene toje chembo lewon pema chune kare songore sana ta tu nyingmala Dünam minam gyuba yin sene sungyore stan tizen kazangi minam la tengyu bo teni changbo chungbo tangema da madaw mindu zo chungru changru do tega na sing minam chungru changru do ne chungo bo yarye ya mambo do wala teni ngalan zo sem la ya dunga pe mese ngangda da jita yogo ki sem na na jita ngangda dede ngaranzu duchu dila ngaranzu keyo re tene keyo indu tsama ngar che chambe tonya tene ngar kari che shabadan dindu dungal tudu chana do kare sana ngarangi tsuwi dungal do uchi gyuru dara songyo re.
The text continues on page 68. Out of previous negative karma, we are born at the end of this degenerate time. All of our previous actions have become the cause of suffering. Bad friends cast over us the shadow of their negative actions. Our practice of virtue is corrupted by meaningless gossip. Lama, think of us. Behold us swiftly with compassion. Bless us that we take Dharma deep to the heart. So what this passage is saying is that in this days, we live in a degenerate age. And as the greatly compassionate Guru Rinpoche said, in this degenerate time, then we think about more and more things. We can become more clever, more smart, and more clever. And as a result of that, we may have great improvements in terms of the external things of this lifetime, and yet internally, our minds have more and more suffering. We have more fear, more panic, more terror in our minds. And then everything that we have done up to this point becomes the causes of suffering. So all of our previous actions have now become causes of our current suffering.
接下来法本的第68页，前世恶业故，生此浊世。往昔所作一切皆苦因，恶友皆为罪恶之父引。信乐无益之言，殊善行，上师见之我。其以慈悲及垂顾加持堪能精进于佛法。所以呢，我们现在生于这个浊世，叫做五浊恶世，在这里简称浊世。在这个浊世当中呢，往昔这个莲花生大师就开示过，在这个浊世当中呢，人们呢会越想越多，就是他们会变得更发的这个聪颖，但因为这些聪颖呢，他们呢会在这个外在的条件，可以大大的这个提升外在的条件，但是相反的，我们的内在，我们的内心会饱受更多的痛苦，会有更多的这个压抑还有恐惧。 所以呢，也就是说，在我们往昔所做的这些行为，都辗转的变成我们痛苦的因了。那么啦，microphone。
Teni ta chongen namji tikpe chime yo, terme lemo kechang yewe kere seti kambala. Ta chongen bi tikpe ki yo, chime yo seti zamele, ngaranzo kyan kabre la kare kore se na, soso ki chobo ngenbe ki tikpa che shabade, soso la tikpa yongere, sambatawa dide yong singere. Chime ki yo seti ka kare re se na, ngaranzo chobo yakbo chi yoba ina, teni chobo yakbo ki yoba la teni, ane ngaranzo pena cha shabana chobo yakbo chö nyamnen chingi. Ane chobo yakbo te kecha sheba ina le chumze yobi kamyo nange. Ane legaji cheba ina le chumze ki chale nange. Teni le kamyo chik namba ima na chadang chö ki toda kamyo le chumze nange ki teni chik yoba ina. Ngaranzo ki shika ina ngaranzo chobo yakbo chato gores. Ta ngaranzo chala chobo ngimba sena karire sena min sempa napo teni chakwa kuma mila nö sem na sem le chumde masungi lama la kurwa tamge tende cheba ina teni ngaranzo te chobo ngimba ki teni trip ki jime ki ngaranzo yo ne ngaranzo ina teni kali chene ani karaso di trip ki ngaranzo ya tende chato gores. Tende ilo chaba na ngema peta uchi karisha na pena chaya chaba na shingi tsenden tongpo chi yoba ina. Di trip de la shing tsenden tongpo memba chi keba ina. Di membi shing de ya tsenden shingi tima kari ores. Pe di shindo la ta ngaranzo ima na pe jobo yakpo chi yoba ina. Ani di na shingi ina ngaranzo la ya pe yakpo chaya ki di ores. Kesi jobo ngemba chi yoba ina. Ani ngaranzo jobo ngemba ki chene timi yo ne dita wo ne de tsambala ngaranzo sangju mo lang karasa robo ngemba pangwar cha sene yo la robo di pa de inji meje ngaran ro ngemba tene to wa na inji meje pangwa da ngaranzo pe ke chembore tene de ro ngemba to pa ina kari cha de tenda mesa gi lengmo se ton mesa gi ke da manda tende nyumong ba pe ya mike wa leche ya de cha ke ne 개종들도 다 소소히 개화체와다 jorwache도 참마 인내 걔네 도저들도 참만들 이제 아 조조거레스.
And so it says, bad friends cast over us the shadow of their negative actions. Our practice of virtue is corrupted by meaningless gossip or meaningless conversation, you could say. So bad friends cast over us the shadow of their negative actions. So sometimes when we have bad friends, friends who commit misdeeds, who just bad friends, and that affects us. For example, if you have a good friend, then like a good friend, someone who practices Dharma, someone who speaks about Dharma, about karmic cause and effect, who is careful about karmic cause and effect in their actions. When they talk, they speak about Dharma or karmic cause and effect. Then what will happen is that your own character will naturally be affected, will naturally be benefited by that. But if we are with bad friends, with harmful friends, then that will also affect us. So like someone who has a bad friend is someone who has a really negative attitude, someone who doesn't care about things, someone who covets, who has a lot of malice, someone who doesn't think about karmic cause and effect, someone who criticizes the gurus. If you have that sort of a friend, then their shadow is going to fall upon you and will also eventually become like that. Like an example of this is if you have a forest and you have in the middle of the forest, you have one sandalwood tree, and a sandalwood tree has a really strong, beautiful scent. The scent of that sandalwood tree will also eventually be absorbed by the trees around it so that they will also smell good. And so in the same way, if we have good friends, then we also will become good people. But if we have bad friends, then we are going to be shaded by them, and we will also become bad people. So this is as is said in the noble aspiration for excellent conduct. We must give up bad friends, and this is extremely important. And so with the bad friends, what they do is it's as it says, our practice of virtue is corrupted by meaningless gossip, or we're carried away by the meaningless conversations and neglect our practice. And so they talk about meaningless things. They talk about things that don't benefit, non-dharma, and various other things. And because we're always talking about meaningless things, then we use up all the time that we would have had to practice.
然后这里又说，恶友皆为罪恶之父引，信乐无益之言，书善行。那就是说呢，这些恶友呢，会变成会辗转的，会影响到我们。恶友呢，就是行非善的或是行恶的一些这个友人，叫做恶友。那举例来说呢，当我们的朋友身边的朋友如果是善友的话，也就是这位朋友他可能修持佛法，然后总是会谈论佛法或是谈论因果，那在他的行为上，他也会好好的考虑到因果。这样子的话呢，常常在这些朋友身边的话，我们自己在讲话的时候，自己的行为也都会自然而然的想到因果业报。那相同的，如果我们的身边的这个朋友是恶友，他总是带着这个害人之心，或是呢完全都不去考虑这个佛法，不去考虑因果，而且呢还这个诽谤我们的诽谤自己的上师等等，这种恶友呢会变成不好意思，刚刚没有开静音。那再来说到恶友皆为罪恶之父引，信乐无益之言，书善行。在这里就是说呢，我们身边的朋友如果是恶友的话呢，他们的他们的行为都是不善的，或是行非善的，那会辗转的这个感染到我们，影响到我们。那举例来说，如果我们身边是善友的话，这位朋友是修持佛法，会谈论佛法，还有谈论因果的，他自己的行为也会考虑到佛法还有因果。那在自然而然的这个情况下，我们跟他相处久了，自己在讲话、在做事的时候，也会考虑到因果。相反的，如果我们身边是恶友，他总是有这个害人之心，或是根本就不信佛法、不讲因果，而且呢，平常会诽谤上师的话呢，那他们的这种阴影会投到我们身上，我们久了就会变得跟他们一样。所以呢，这个有一个例子，就是说在森林之中有一棵这个檀木，檀香树。檀香树呢，在这个林子中可能只有一棵，但是它自然会散发出这个香气。久而久之，这个林子当中其他的树木也会染上这个檀香味。所以呢，这就是好像我们常说的近朱者赤，近墨者黑这样的意思。而在这个普贤行愿品当中，也有教导我们要远离恶友。所以呢，在这个恶友的影响下呢，这个偈子就说信乐无益之言，书善行，就是呢，我们常常在这边讲一些信乐无益的这种言语呢，就会让我们疏远了善行。
Tene tambo samju chöle mepale tama chöre korwa ngen song kyo tarwe lodo meke seki chom tendo nyewe mugyo tatana lama keno toje nyuto se song yore. Tambo dayang ngaranzo mikashe tambo ngaranzo chö jibu la samde tambo samju chöle me chö mado shamba kaya ani ngaranzo samgyo mado chö chega legore. Teni ngaranzo chö yakbo che onde zambala chö de yakbo che mandaba che teni garu chö luk senga che do chö luk de yakbo che teni di che bala tene garu chone tama de la ani ngaranzo ge de chö ki minke ne ta chapsi tap chö ki minko ne zong yap chö ki minko ne lega dramanda de mege chu da semenga mambo che ba ina garu yongore tama de tudre de ngaranzo ngenson droge gyuchagores dende indu talo tarwe loto meke seji 좀 sana 가르에서나 tarwata 탐제 힘비 공방이 토비아데 뺀다고데 말하는 로도라고 지라가 로도서나 다 ngana ju tamne lodo lagre mage thar lodo kare jewu kare tan lodo lagre mege seji chomse de ngana ta se de kare sana ngana lodo yabu ji yoba de la ane sera da uje pela da na da ngana jo sera da uje pamne lodo chama meba ta ucha do res dende indu chambala teni ngana jo tambi chue yabu ji nyamen je yoba de ane lodo da la ane sera pamne 매바 소원나 신지 담비추에 야보데 아니 냠스 말라마 체네 아니 나란주기 타마데라 아니 담비추에데 야보 마저레 타마데 완손도하게 교주거래 덴덴들라 데 텐도 녜베 무게 다 나다와게 덴데 용엔도 라마체노 투지뉴도 시 덴데 마요와 요르치 소거레스
So the text continues on the bottom of page 69. At first, there is nothing but Dharma on our mind, but at the end, the result is the cause of samsara in the lower realms. The harvest of liberation is destroyed by the frost of unvirtuous activity. We, like wild savages, have lost our ultimate vision. Lama, think of us, behold us swiftly with compassion, bless us that within we bring the genuine Dharma to perfection. And so first of all, when we begin, we only think about the Dharma. We can't think about anything else, and we just want to practice the Dharma. And as we do the practice, and we try to do it well, but in the end, we end up not doing it so well. It doesn't go properly. And eventually what happens is we look on the outside like it becomes like a tradition. And because it becomes like a tradition or a custom, then we use it to do non-dharmic things. We use the Dharma to do politics or use it to do business. We end up doing the 10 non-virtues and the five heinous actions. And the result of that is that we will be reborn in the lower realms. And so it's like the harvest of liberation is destroyed by the frost of unvirtuous activity. So this is like an analogy. And when we talk about frost here, it's like, or when we talk about it, the harvest is like the result of liberation and omniscience. And this is what we try to achieve. But it's like the crop of a grain in a crop. Whether you're planting corn or rice or whatever you're planting, in the spring, you plant the seeds and then they grow and they bear a crop. But what happens, for example, like in Tibet, is that then there might be a hailstorm. The hailstorm will come by and it'll destroy the entire crop. And so it's the same way. We try to practice the Dharma, but we lose it. And it's like the hail of our unvirtuous actions are destroying all the Dharma that we have practiced. And in the end, we look like we're Dharma practitioners, but we haven't practiced the Dharma. We wild savages have lost our ultimate vision. And so everything we do becomes a cause of the lower realms. So for that reason, we say, Lama, please look at me. Behold us swiftly with compassion so that this does not happen to me.
接着是69页下面这里，起初发心佛法别无他，末了果报轮回恶道因，解脱果为不善双所摧，我等过恶难寻悔中地，上师见之我，其以慈悲及垂顾加持度至正法之彼岸。所以呢，在这里起初发心的时候呢，我们除了佛法什么都看不到，而且呢，除了修持佛法什么都不做。结果呢，到了最终末了的时候呢，我们却找到了这个我们得到的果报，却是轮回的这个道因。那在这里呢，也就是说，我们在刚开始修持佛法，一心的想着修持佛法，但是修着修着，我们的修持就越来越的退步了，而且不如法了，这样就变成好像外在变成一种形式了。而当我们的佛法成了外在的形式，我们就可能会开始做种种的这个非善，可能会做十不善业，或是做这个犯这个无间罪，而这些种种的不善呢，都会成于我们堕入恶趣的这个因。所以呢，在这里说我们的解脱果 为不善双所催，就是我们本来在种植的这个解脱的果呢，就是这个片知的佛果，最后呢被我们的不善，这个不善就像这个冰霜一样，把我们的这个果实所摧毁了。那这里的比喻呢就是说，不管我们是可能在种这个玉米啊，或是这个稻田的时候，我们可能春天会种下去，然后这个种子会发芽，会成长，一直长到一个程度要结果的时候呢，像在藏地这个地区呢，就可能会突然来一场这个会降霜或是下冰雹，然后呢把我们这个果实都摧毁了。那在这里就是说，我们的修持佛法的结果都被我们的不善这样子一般的摧毁了。所以呢，我们最后呢就只是看着在修法，却不是实际上在修法。所有的这个修持，所谓的修持，表象的修持，都成了这个堕入恶道的因了。所以在这里，我们祈请上师慈悲及垂顾，让他加持我们，可以度至正法的彼岸。
암주 다르 침바르 진질로 교시 띵네 개바르 진질로 로메 로나 통바르 진질로 치와 닝네 템바르 진질로 레라 익체 개바르 진질로 람라 파르체 메바르 진질로 드블라 춘르 녀바르 진질로 갱에 람도 로바르 진질로 님보 랑소 토바르 진질로 슈미 메그 개바르 진질로 네루 라샤 자바르 진질로 랑리 인위세바르 진질로 투나 히자 조바르 진질로 세지 선제 조바르 진질로 스타 디식디다 베 레라오 kiranza hama kwa ma hamindu diche la teni sowa de solama rimborche tungwe peto tinjije kame dala resa kelame sanga de teni nga tangji kyamne teni maranzu chala che yabo che teni soso dungi nambala soso sabi lama de yabo che komne che ma dungi ins.
So continuing from page 71, bless us that repentance arise from deep within. Bless us that we curtail all our scheming. Bless us that from the depth of our heart we remember depth. Bless us that we develop certainty in the laws of karma. Bless us that our path be free of obstacles. Bless us that we be able to exert ourselves in practice. Bless us that we bring difficult situations onto the path. Bless us that the antidotes through their own power are completely effective. Bless us that genuine devotion arise. Bless us that we see the very face of the mind's true nature. Bless us that self-awareness awaken in the center of our heart. Bless us that elusive appearances are completely eliminated. Bless us that we achieve enlightenment in one lifetime. So I think these words are fairly simple to understand, and that there's nothing that you will have trouble understanding in them. So I will next recite the next 4 lines, the supplication to the Guru, with a melody. And I'd like to ask you all to imagine your root Guru in front of yourselves and sing them along with me.
那接下来71页继续的这个根本文继续是升起甚深出离起加持，无暇顾简阴谋起加持，内心意念死亡起加持，升起业之信仰起加持，修行道上无碍起加持，修行堪能精进起加持，恶缘取之入道起加持，堪能对治自心起加持。升起真实前进其加持，轻悟真谛自信其加持，觉醒心中自明其加持，彻底断除妄境其加持，一切即能成佛其加持。所以呢，这几个句子呢，我想字语上是非常白话、非常易懂的，我就不多做解释。那再来呢，下面的4句这个句子呢，我会用这个一个乐调来唱，请大家好好的观想自己的根本上师，然后一起唱诵。
teni taa di sholoka ki shiwa tila teni nganzu 뒤균도 나 당지 배 당년보 지켰네 동그레스 다당 잡이 갑라 되네 가상 공도 쉬어나지 소소 계약고에나 계약고 제 계약고매나 계약고매바는 기계 저 있잖아 가요 말해서 소소 잡일라마라 대바다 먹을 계약이 지도라 되니 기계 있다고 지켰나 가요 말해서 숨겨래 되들갑라 소와데서 라마린 버체 소소게 잡일라마네 케니 라마 케니 이담 케니 칸도 최니 최종 그래 체인 인생하게 다 결함마도 수지매 하게 동료들도 진짜 최기버 뭐 가르에서 소소사비 짜라요나 아니 라마 장부에 티랑 라 버스나 고고마 가르에서 콜링 for 라마 세대가 라마데 베 소소사비 타는 거지 쇼에서 단단 디딘데 잠말라 당가랑도 데니데 잠말라 가랑도 사비 라마 베 유럽 배율라 자갈라 베라 가와 쇼요만 나라도 대바다 먹을 샘팅이 제만 마이게 동슈 잡을 고니 되는지 되네 라관이 탈모처네 야보 지되네 되네 케네 라마 케네 이시 케네 칸도 케다 마치 되네 칼메 달라서 케라메 칼바 딜랑아 미지 딜라서 케마도 셴바 수지메 다 케라마도 메다스 나타야 계란 레사 계란 맛이 요 말에 되니 계란이 투이얼면 되바 진질라도 세다가라 사빌라마게 구송 투기 아니 지원의 옴가로 림반의 아마로 투간의 홍뭐 사빌라면 둘라고 되네 왜서마 트레네 소소기 류가 이숨나 팀송 상 소소 예순 팀마마세는 소소 짜빌라마다 소소소 라니 오예와메바 데스 삼빙알라데는 소소 짜빌라마게 두니나말 탈라메 라 슈네 되니 라마 장부에 도바이나레 대간나 신기 되니 알아도 오늘 시전나라 만남시기 라미나죠 냠렌 남바이나레 데 다지 콤네 도바이나 오네 짜빌라마게 오네 왕시드들레 소설 때 밴드점마다 야고요레스.
And so we'll recite this with a melody, and it's a beautiful melody. But as I said the other day, if you have a good voice, then you sing it with a good voice. But if you have a dog's voice, then you sing it with a dog's voice. It really doesn't matter because if you have faith and devotion in the root guru, if you have a dog's voice and sing it like a dog, then that's great. If it helps you feel devotion, faith, and devotion. So the main thing is that you should think to yourself. It's like it said the famous line, "Guru, you are the guru, you are the yidam, you are the dakinis, you are the dharma protectors. There's no one else but you. And so it's like we're calling the guru. It says in here, we call out to you with longing. So calling is something that you do when they're far away. If they're close, you don't need to call. So they're far away, so you call them. So here, we're calling to the guru, wherever the guru is, whether the guru is in Europe, whether the guru is in Nepal, whether the guru is in India or Tibet, or wherever the guru is. We call to the guru with great longing, joining our hands in prayer. And then it says, the next line says, "For us unworthy ones, you are the only hope." This is saying we don't have anywhere else for hope in this lifetime but you. You're the only help. It's just you. So we place all of our hopes in the guru. And then in the next line, it says, "Bless us that your mind blends with ours." And so here you imagine that in the body, speech, and mind of the root guru, the forehead, throat, and heart, there is a white Om in the forehead, a red Ah in the throat, and a blue Hum in the heart. The light radiates out from that, and it dissolves into you through your own body, speech, and mind. Not only does it dissolve into you, but you then become inseparable from your root guru, and the guru is just vividly present in front of you, and you're calling the guru. You're calling the guru from afar. And so, whether we're doing it in this prayer of calling the guru from afar, or in the four preliminary practices, reciting the Four Mothers prayer and the Guru Yoga, when we meditate upon this and take the four empowerments in this way, it's really extremely beneficial.
Sorry, Kempula, could you repeat the last part with the four preliminaries?
So when whether we're doing Guru Yoga, or whether we're doing the calling the Guru from afar, or doing Guru Yoga in the four preliminaries, such as the passage on the prayer to the Four Mothers of praying to the Guru, when we're meditating upon that and taking these four empowerments, then it is very beneficial.
所以呢，接下来我们一起用这个一段这个乐调来唱诵这段这个四句偈。那在这里呢，这个乐调是非常美妙的，所以呢，大家如果有非常美好的这个歌声，当然很好，一起唱。如果你的歌声你觉得像狗吠一样，你也一起唱没有关系。主要的呢，这都不重要，主要的是呢，你可以就是诚心的去唱，让你自己激发你自己的这个前进心。那所以呢，在这里呢，我们就说至诚祈请尊贵上师宝，悲切呼求具恩之法王。所以呢，在这里我们在祈请我们的这个上师，我们的上师就是所有的佛、所有的本尊、所有的护法的具以一身。好像他在很远的地方，我们向他呼请这样子。那如果他很近，当然就不需要呼请了。但是呢，我们就是，譬如我们的上师在欧洲啊，在尼泊尔、在印度、在藏地也好，我们以非常悲切的这种心情去呼请他，然后双手合十的去呼请他。接着又说呢，自身不堪，非尊无所依。那这也就是说，我们自己啊，根本就我们自己很不堪啊，不值得这个没有什么什么都没有，而在这里呢呼请他来这个做我们的医护。接着呢，师心我心合一无别起加持，在这里呢，我们就要做一个观想，就是让我们的心和上师的心合二为一。那在这里就要观想上师的这个三门，也就是眉间、他的喉间还有心间，个别呢有三个种子字 Om 阿海 Hom。Om 阿 Hom。Om 呢是在眉间，是白色的 Om 字，喉间是红色的 A 字，然后呢心间是蓝色的 Hom 字，然后呢这三个字母呢射向我们自己的三门，分别是眉间是白色的 Om， 喉间是红色的 A， 心间是蓝色的 Hom， 这样子呢是从上师三门射入我们三门，然后融入了我们自身，我们变得跟上师完全无二无别。而且呢，在这个当下，我们的上师就非常清晰的、鲜明的在我们的面前，要这样子去做这个遥呼上师的这个祈请。那不管我们在做这个遥呼上师祈请文，还是说在修这个四加行当中的这个上师瑜伽其中有一部分是这个祈请四个母亲的这个祈愿文。然后呢，在当中呢，我们会观修这个四种灌顶，不管是做这两者哪一种观修呢，这么去观想就是会有很大的利益的。
Okay, today I'm going to my dog voice, okay?
今天我用我的狗吠版给你看了。
Zoan de Lama 라서 투천낭 되니 콤비 레웅니 까메지 낭 직식인세도.
So thank you very much. And now the monastery office would like to say a few words to us.
谢谢大家听课。接下来这个寺院的办事处有一个公告要跟我们说。
Thank you everyone for joining the teachings this weekend. I was asked to say a few words before we leave this afternoon. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Dongse Lama Padma for giving us instructions on calling the Lama from afar. This is a text that speaks about devotion, renunciation, and connecting with the root guru. For me personally, these are the things that I want to keep in mind. I believe that having more faith in my guru's teaching and practicing them will really help me at the end of this life and in the Buddha stage.
那首先呢，这个拉玛佩玛呢，请我在这个课程圆满之时呢，讲几句话。所以在这里呢，首先要感谢董色拉玛佩玛给我们开示这个瑶湖上师祈请文的这个课程。然后呢，在这个法本当中呢，瑶湖上师祈请文的法本呢当中是教导我们要升起前进心，要升起出离心，还有跟这个上师做一个更深刻的这个牵连。那在这些事情呢，都是我自己本身希望可以学习到，并且不要废忘的。因为呢，我觉得如果这样子依据上师的这个教导去修持的话，不管是今生还是来世，都有非常大的利益。
And also like to thank our translators. Most of us can't understand any of the teachings without them. A big thank you to the Kambuchopo, who is feeling unwell but help us anyhow, to Karma and to Jeff.
那另外呢，要感谢我们的翻译。如果大部分我们都如果没有翻译的帮助，都听不懂喇嘛所教的这些开示，所以呢，然后在这里非常感谢堪布 Tripel， 他现在也是不太身体有点不适，所以非常感谢他，还有感谢这个Karma 喇嘛。
Finally, thank you to all of you for listening and continuing to support the monastery, even during these difficult times. Good evening and stay safe.
最后呢，感谢各位在这里听法的各位，还有你们一直以来的支持。那祝大家晚安，请大家保重。
되니 넘버 2 라마 잠바게 차베 공연데 저 위ಚಾर 그룹에 나가도 위ಚಾर 그룹 나타용인스 아니 맹인데 저 공부에 레웅랑라 저와체로 제가도 차베다 참아라 표기인스 되니 차베 표바 시중에 라마 잠바데 냐마레레 드 엔데가 나시 나란조 경감마 바교보 나란조 때 통고 공발라 교 펩투야 되니 나란조 자빌라마 통고를 같이 교대라 펩투야기 물람 내 나자 매바 되는 나자대 교디로라 나자대 매바잖아 참아 나란조 교보 공발라 차는 좀네 되는 나란조게 되니 자빌라마 우리라 자빌라마쇼 발라 초조 포만 현재 참아 차라 좀네 되는 추기 가더라 로야기 물람여보 지겸나로지 되는 거랑 물람여보 지겸나로지 쓰는 거란조 메모 보여도 물람데 자제자 주거에서 거래서 나란조 가교발라 다 텐데서는 배 지야요레서 내내체네도 말 Tendela Zina, Molam Yabo, Yabro cheese, and Jajatama Monam the Tuber Sangos, and Nambaso in a Kuzu Trete and Nam, and then Nami Penju, Samala, Yabanaro cheese, and then to you to Combatilla Antony, Tapa Reshet, Karanzo Chitula, Teni Melare, Solcare, Trejore, Kanjitoni, Karanzo, the Tukunazo, Kendumba, Ke Kuyuba, the Tukuna Kenamala. The Shabden Dundan Tension by Ins.
And so I'd like to also say that we would like to send the text for this calling the guru to Afar from Afar to all of you. So those of you who are in our monastery WeChat group, we will send it to you by that. And if you are not in that WeChat group, then please contact the monastery office. We'd like to be able to give all of you the copy of the text. And we hope that you can recite this text every day. And as you recite it, then we'd like to ask you to please pray to pray that the Gyawan Karmapa may be able to swiftly come to Trangu Monastery, that our root guru, Kenshin Trangu Rinpoche, will be able to come to this monastery free of illness and in good health. We need to also pray that this epidemic may soon finish. So we wish that they may be able to come and may be able to teach us the Dharma. And so we have the Guru at our head. We'd be surrounded by all of our Dharma friends. And in this way, we should pray that we will be able to enjoy a feast of the Dharma. And there's so many of us here right now that if we all make the prayer together, it's 100% certain that this is going to come true. This is because we Kajupas really place a lot of emphasis on signs and interdependence. And so we consider interdependence very, very important. So we think that definitely because of interdependence, this will come through. And so I'd like to also ask you all to please take care of yourselves, take care of your health, take care of your families. And please remember that we here at the monastery, every day we are doing the Medicine Buddha Puja, the Mahakala Puja, and the Green Tara. We have 8 or 9 members of the Sangha reciting it every day. And we are doing this for your own benefit and for your sake.
那最后呢，还要讲一件事，或是公布一件事，就是我们想要将这个瑶湖上师祈请文的这个法本传给大家，电子版的。那如果您在这个寺院的微信群的话呢，我们会在微信群上面发布分享。那如果你没有在微信群想要取得法本的话，请你麻烦你联系一下这个创古寺的这个办事处。那也请大家收到法本之后呢，每天这个念诵一次，然后呢，在念诵的时候呢，请回向或是祈愿大宝法王可以非常迅速的再来我们创古寺，还有看见创古仁波切可以非常快的再有机会来这里给我们讲法，然后呢大家都所有的上师都可以非常健康无病的安全的抵达。那同时呢，这个疫情也可以迅速的这个平息，然后。在疫情平息之际呢，我们所有的上师都可以来这里自由的来这里为我们讲法，这样子跟我们同居一堂，我们就有上师为首，然后呢身旁可以有这个法友围绕着一起享用这个法路。然后最后呢，因为在座有许多这个法友在听法的人很多，如果我们同时这么一起祈请的话，这样的这个祈愿是一定会成真的。尤其是我们是噶举派的弟子，我们是非常深信这个因缘和合的，还有相互的这种依赖性。所以呢，我们大家一起去这么祈愿，这一切都一定会成真的。所以最后呢，再请大家好好的保重，保护自己的健康，还有家人的健康。然后呢，还要提醒大家，我们在寺院这里每天都有做这个日修的内容，包括药师佛的仪轨，还有这个马哈卡拉护法，还有绿度母的仪轨。在这里呢，寺院有8位僧众，我们呢每天都会为大家这么祈祷，还有修持这些法。
Thank you, Kambola and Jeb. Thank you very much, everyone, and be happy. Happy New Year 2021. See you soon. Good health. Okay. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.
Bye.